Hello and welcome to the Little Drops of Wonderful podcast. This is episode 83 and this is where I talk about all things to do with my crochet and knitting and crafty shenanigans that I get up to and other lovely tangents like books and so on, sewing, the odd bit of other crafty rabbit holes that I go down. My name is Ali and I'm coming to you from a very cold and very wet Kent in the southeast of the UK. And you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Starry Eyes Ali. And all of the show notes, like links and things that I talk about, patterns, yarns and so on, are in the description box underneath this video, beside the video, depending on where it pops up when you click the down arrow, as well as chapters which will let you leap to any section that you want to. We're going to be talking about some finished objects and some works in progress and some incoming stuff, make-alongs, books and all kinds of other lovely things. How have you been? Have you had a good holiday season? Do you celebrate Christmas? Did you have a good one? And have you had a nice break with your family? Are you ready and raring to go for 2022? I think I am, although my body hasn't caught up with me yet. I feel absolutely exhausted. I think we're all feeling that a bit. I feel like even though we didn't go back to work and school until the 5th of January, I still feel like I needed another week off. I must apologise as well in advance for my hair. I really need it cut. I'm getting it cut the day after tomorrow. My fringe has got too long and my hair is all over the place. So I've done what I can with it, but you're just going to have to deal with it. Anyway, let's get stuck into finished objects. I've just realised that I have left one of the finished objects that I wanted to talk to you about first in the other room. So I'm going to go and get it and I'll be right back. Do not adjust your screens. I've completely changed in appearance. It's now Monday and I will go back to the podcast that I filmed on Saturday afternoon in one moment, but when I went to edit it today, the very first file that I filmed after doing my introduction was corrupt. It had gone completely corrupt. And I had shared 3 finished objects and a few other little sort of introductory things as well. So I'm going to have to refilm those now, and perhaps the continuity wouldn't have been quite so flawed if it wasn't for the fact that this morning I went and had my hair cut. So any reference I make for the rest of the podcast saying, oh, I'm getting my hair cut on Monday, this is the result. So it's still a bit sort of just been cut feeling. But I do like it and I'm going to be wearing it a bit less straight than this usually, and I feel like I keep wanting to do this. Anyway, speaking of hair, this guy has got fabulous hair. This is Max the Mammoth and he is my first finished object, and he is a crochet. He's an amigurumi mammoth that I made for Phoebe's 11th birthday, which was at the end of November. So I have shared this, I think, on the vlogs over on my This Little Wonderful Life channel. He hasn't got a tail because I ran out of time to make the tail, and Phoebe says that she feels he doesn't really need one. He was really good fun to make. I held a sport weight cotton yarn double so that he was nice and big and chunky, because Phoebe really likes to be able to cuddle her amigurumi. And you crochet the eyes rather than using safety eyes, which I think is a lovely touch. These were quite tricky to do, but I'm really glad I took the time. The hair was the hardest bit. Well, not hard, but the most time consuming. And his nostrils. He's got nostrils in there in his trunk. And I found the instructions for that really confusing. So it's not my finest work, but it's not something that's completely obvious. Oh, it's that. So I'm filming in the bedroom obviously on Monday now, but Dan's got his little office set up that he works from when he works from home, and his computer just made a weird noise. One of my favourite things about Max, I love his toenails and I love the fact that he loves strawberries just like Phoebe does. So I made him a few strawberries, but this one I attached to his paw, his claw, no, his hoof. I guess mammoths have hoofs. So that it wouldn't get lost, because I assumed that all of the little ones would probably get lost eventually. So he's got one to hang on to for when he wants a snack. The pattern was from the book Dinosaurs, Mammoths and More Prehistoric Amigurumi. And it's a brilliant book. I've made a few things from that book so far. I've made a Triceratops and a no, not a Diplodocus, another dinosaur that I made for Lilia. What was he called? I can't remember. I'm gonna have to get the book. Just went and got the book, and in the process of going to get it, it suddenly popped into my head. I made Brad the Brachiosaurus. So this is the book, and I will show you Brad that I've made previously. Oh, that's Peaches, the Triceratops that I made Phoebe for her birthday last year. And then for Lilia's birthday last year, she got Brad the Brachiosaurus, and he's so cute. Yeah, so great book, and I will definitely be making more from that. And I can go and return Max the Mammoth to Phoebe's bed. One of the other things I was saying before I moved on with the rest of the podcast was that I had a mark on my hand, and you'll see it as I'm holding a few things up, and that is because it was a really cold and rainy day, pretty much the same as today, but we've got no rain today, it's just cold. And I was up and down the stairs every now and then looking after the log burner. So I'd got a mark of soot on my finger that I hadn't noticed until I was talking in the file that got corrupted. So yeah, I had like a mark that I couldn't get off my finger from where I'd been in and out of the fire putting logs on. The other thing that I'd said was I was filming really late in the afternoon. It was about it was about 3 o'clock, 3:15 by the time I started filming. So I gradually lost light as the time went on. So you'll hear me make a lot of reference to lighting issues, and it's because it's quite late in the afternoon. And for that reason, I pointed out that's why I'm sitting somewhere different. I would normally sit in front of the fireplace in the bedroom. I'm still in the bedroom, but I was sat here in front of the window to get as much light as I possibly could coming directly at me. So when I was showing you things, it was obvious. It is now at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon again, so the light is very similar. I am going to show you the other finished objects that I had shown you before I got corrupted, for want of a better way of describing it. I'm going to just show you this finished thing really quickly. This is my Crunkled Socks ×2. So these were another pair of Strictly socks and also my Halloween socks. I dyed the yarn myself, and I showed these on one of my Strictly vlogs, so I won't go into huge detail about them other than to say I did them on the 60 stitches or 64 stitches. I can't remember, but either way I made them slightly too big for me. I do prefer a bit of negative ease in my socks, but Lilia, my eldest daughter, absolutely loves them, and she likes to wear hand knit socks all the time, so she has nabbed these and is very happy with them. And I'm really happy with them too. I love the Crunkled Socks pattern, which you won't see very well because the yarn is quite dark and speckly, but I dyed the yarn. I can't remember how I dyed the yarn or got this effect, but I'm really pleased with how the speckles haven't really pooled too much, and it's kind of an even distribution of speckles on both socks. I'm quite pleased with myself, and I really like how they look, and I thought they were perfect for Halloween. So that's my second finished object. So my next finished object is the fourth and final pair of Strictly socks that I made for the Strictly Sock Along 2021. I was so impressed with myself with my productivity in sock knitting this year. Usually I barely get one pair done, and I got 4. I did cheat on the first pair because they were pretty much halfway done. So I made the sugar icing socks, which I gave to Phoebe. I made the Halloween black and pink socks. I also made another pair of Crunkled socks in the official Strictly Sock Along colour, which was from Elderflower Stitches, and it was called Sockly Come Dancing, and they're beautiful. And then I made these, and these are the final ones, and they were cast off before the end of the year, and I made the pattern up more or less. So the yarn I'll tell you about first is absolutely beautiful. It is by Wool is the Answer. Wool is the Answer. And they donated a skein of this as a prize for the Strictly Sock Along, and they also gave me my own one as well, and it's all sparkly and it's so pretty. It's called Fab-U-lous 21, so it's their Strictly 2021 colourway. And this is what I've got left. I reckon I've got enough left there for a pair of shorty socks. Woo. if I don't throw it across the room. So that's what it looks like in a very messy cake that has been in and out of project bags and so on. And this is what it looks like in my finished socks. I'll tell you about what I did for the pattern. So you can just see there's a little repeating pattern that goes all the way down the leg and across the top of the foot. And it looks so lovely with this yarn. And I made the pattern up basically, so I have a bit of a regret that I did a 2x2 twisted rib. I wish I'd done a 1x1 twisted rib. I was just mucking about and experimenting basically, and I don't think I've ever done a 2x2 twisted rib, and now I know I wouldn't do one again. It works perfectly fine, I just don't think it looks as neat as a 1x1 twisted rib. But that's what I started with, and then I just kind of made up a 15-row repeat for the pattern. And some of it I really love, some of it I'm not so sure about, but I had really good fun doing it. It's kind of a mixture of yarn overs, knit two togethers, passing slip stitch over, that kind of thing. And like I say, it's a 15-row repeat, and it just creates a nice little simple pattern, which I really enjoyed doing. And I enjoyed just the process of basically just doodling, I guess is the best way to describe it, with yarn and making up my own thing. And I'm really pleased with how they came out. So they're all finished. The heel and the toe, I used the instructions from the Crunkled Socks by Kay Jones, which, did I say that that pattern was by Kay Jones? Because it is. Kay Jones, the Bakery Bears. I used the heel instructions and her umbrella toe, which has really grown on me. That's Dan's computer again. The umbrella toe, because it gives a really nice finish, but you still got that security of the Kitchenered toe as well. You can graft the toe together and know it's nice and secure. So that's my last finished object. I shall now hand you back to me on Saturday with longer, messier hair in a different jumper, talking about the rest of my finished objects and all of my other crafty pursuits. My next finished object is the blanket that never became a blanket, basically. I started making a granny stripe blanket for Phoebe and realised that I had gone too wide with it. So each row was just taking forever and it was just a chore. So I was going to frog it, and then I started to frog it, and then I thought actually what I could do is just turn what I've done into a scarf. So I added a little border to the edges that kind of needed it. So I didn't do it on the cast on edge, which I did a foundation single crochet, so that gives quite a nice edge. But I added a little border around the edges and at the top a little finishing touch. And then I was going to make it into a scarf and maybe add some tassels, but then I crocheted the ends together like that. That's the wrong side. This is the right side, so you don't see it. To make a kind of cowl. So here you can see, like that. So that you would wrap it round, I guess twice. Probably actually, you can get it round 3 times. And then after I did that, I thought, does that work as a cowl? I mean, I like to have my neckwear quite snug. So I would wrap it round 3 times, but you could, if you preferred to have things a bit looser, you could wrap it round twice and have it tighter here and looser here, or you could wrap it round twice and have it kind of like that. I would never wear it like that. And then I thought maybe I should have just left it and made it into a scarf, because that might be a bit easier to wear. It is long enough, so if I put it around my neck, here's the join here, so that's where the ends would be. Oh no, I'm not going to have to stand on this stool. Hang on. Okay, so here I am on the stool. Here's my, I don't know, that's my bum. And it comes right down here. So actually as a scarf, it's quite a good length already. If I put, it might not even need tassels, except for the fact that I like tassels. So if I put tassels on the end, I actually think it would probably be more versatile as a scarf. So I might just unpick that join and whack some tassels on it. We all love tassels, don't we? I've learned in the past that my viewers do like a good tassel. So I might just do that, and then I can just start wearing it immediately. I could wear it now, but I do want to just make sure I'm making the right decision. So what do you think? Are you team cowl or team scarf? Let me know in the comments. But I'm pleased to kind of have found a use for it, because I really liked how it looked, especially this sort of graduation of colours I really liked. And this was all just random minis that I had that were all gifts, which makes it really special. So let me know what you think. And then my other finished object, which I'm really pleased about, because it was quite a long-term one in the sense that it was an advent project. So I only had it out for Christmas 2020, and then for this Christmas just gone 2021. And both of those years obviously were quite significant as well, because of everything that had been happening across the world with the pandemic. And everything else that's happened over the past couple of years, and all the changes, all the positive changes that we're seeing in the world. So these 2 years I think will forever be in my memory so clearly. I feel like they've gone so quickly because I can just remember so many specific points in those 2 years, if that makes sense. So this blanket to me is really special because it kind of holds that time. And it's my Advent blanket. So I was using my Advent minis from Swaps, and I was holding it double. So they're all fingering weight minis, and I was holding it double with a plain grey Cascade Heritage fingering weight as well. And it got to the point, it was always going to be a lap blanket, and it's beautifully heavy. And it got to the point this year where I thought, do you know what, it's big enough, I'm going to finish it. And then I put a little made up border on it, and it's done. I'll be standing up again. It's a bit energetic, this podcast. So here it is. Let's go, let's do a little working upwards. So I'm going to work from, hang on, where did I start? Okay, so this is basically, this top bit is where I began. So we're going to work from 2020 up to 2021. Ready? So here we are, 2020, starting the blanket, working through all my minis for my friend Lily, my friend Sarah, and a few others as well. And then working all the way up until we get to 2021, where I did a swap with my friend Naomi this year, and still my friend Sarah for the 5th year. And there we go. So it's a really good size lap blanket. And it is, like I say, it's so heavy. So it's a real comfort to sit underneath. And I think I'm going to be sitting underneath it later this evening when we're all snuggled up watching The Masked Singer, which we absolutely love. I am convinced that Clownfish is either Michael McIntyre or Eddie Izzard, if you're watching. Otherwise, I've just said a lot of words that are going to be very confusing. So that's my finished Advent blanket. I made it with a 3.5mm hook. And what else I want to say about it? It's the Attic 24 granny stripe blanket that I used as the pattern, but I improvised the border. And basically I just went round and did a little granny stripe around the border. Just made sure I had the same amount of stitches on each side. And yeah, I think that's everything I want to say about it, other than I am really pleased with my Advent project for the last 2 years. I'm going to have to think about what my project will be next year now. I'm tempted to do another thing like this because I really did enjoy doing it this way. I like to make a blanket with my Advent yarns, but who knows, I might branch out. And then I had the yarns that I didn't use. I'm just going to pop it. It looks lovely down here on the floor. Just crochet blankets and scarves. So I've got this gorgeous bag here that I showed on my Vlogmas over on This Little Wonderful Life, which I have put a link to underneath. It's from Callie, and she sent this during Vlogmas, along with a little bear, crochet bear decoration, which is now put away with all the other decorations. I love this bag so much. And in here is all the Advent yarns that I didn't use in that blanket. So I'm going to do something special with these. And also in here, which didn't go into the blanket, I ordered 2 or 3 months worth of the Green Lambkin Advent yarns because they were Christmas Carol themed. And I absolutely adore the Christmas Carol. I adore it. I read it every year and I just love it. And the minis that I got were just perfect. This is called Yet to Come. This one is called My Life Tends That Way Now. These are all like little references to the book. Tiny Tim. Okay, so this one is Bed Curtains. This one is Our Spirits' Lives So Short. And then this one is I Will Honour Christmas in My Heart. So pretty. They are so pretty and I love them. So I've got 6 of these minis, so I will find a special project to use these in. I don't know if I've got enough for a pair of socks. I might do. If I do contrast heels and everything, I shall have a think. So those are my finished objects. Have we got any more finished objects to share with you? No, I'm just going to share those 3. And then in terms of works in progress, I am going to do a separate vlog. I've already been around gathering works in progress. Not all of them yet, but I've got a big pile just off here to my left, and it is huge, and that is not even half of it. And I'm going to do a whole vlog about doing a work in progress audit, a WIP audit, a WIP transparency vlog, and I'm going to make some proper decisions and just go, right, what seriously is just taking up my creative energy that I'm never going to finish and is just stressing me out and I'm just going to move on from, and what do I really want to finish, and make a plan for the coming year, basically. So I just want to share with you 2 works in progress that I felt it was a good thing to share with you, because the first one is a crochet blanket, and this is because I wanted to show this to you because I am running a new make along with my lovely friend Cherie, who you will all know from the Ollie and Bella podcast, is living, by the way, in my gorgeous bag. Ooh. Absolutely massive. Sounded like Stacey from Gavin and Stacey then, didn't it? Absolutely massive. And it was made for me as part of a swap I did with Marta a couple of years ago. Auntie Marta, she is, and it is such a good size bag for a blanket. And in here is yarn that a lovely viewer of this podcast called Christina and her son died on. It's cotton yarn, and it is a worsted weight, and the colourway is called Phoebe Sparkles on a Stormy Day. And this is what I've done so far. I am making the 6-day kid blanket by Betty McKnit. I have done enough, I've cast on, so I've got 7 points. When I originally read the pattern, when I was looking at everyone's project, everyone was saying I cast on this amount for 7 points, or I cast on this amount for 10 points. And I was thinking there was some kind of competition going where you got points for the amount of stuff you cast on, and then I worked out it meant points on the blanket. Oh dear. So anyway, I've cast on for 7 points. I can't remember how many that was, and I didn't start with just a chain. I did a foundation single crochet row because I can't stand working into really long chains, and that worked great. And I think I've done 3 repeats, and then I stopped because I wanted to do a bit of maths. I didn't want to do maths, but I needed to do maths, which I shall now share with you. Okay, so I've done 3 repeats of the pattern, and it has used 157 grams, and it measures about 12 inches, okay? I have got remaining 430 grams, so that is enough for about 8 more repeats, which would be about 28 inches, which means the finished length of it would be about 40 inches, maybe just over 40 inches. So what I need to work out is if 40 inches is long enough for the blanket that I want to make. If not, what I'm going to do is I've got a ton of cotton yarn in different weights that I could hold double to make up to worsted weight, and I could maybe do at regular intervals a different colour. I wanted to do it all with one colour because I really like how this yarn is looking. It looks so gorgeous. It's sparkly as well. Is that focusing? Yes. It's really gorgeous, but striping it with another colour will also be beautiful. So I just need to work out my measurements. So I kind of put it, I was going great guns, and then I kind of put it to one side when I realised I had to start thinking. I was like, oh no, it's too early on in the year for too much thinking. I'll just put this down for a bit. And the hook I am using, I would tell you if I could find it. Oh yes, it's after all the discussion I had towards the end of last year about improving my knowledge of my tools and trying out some proper hooks. This is one I got free in a magazine. It was just the first one I saw that was the right size that I grabbed. It's a 4mm hook that I got free with, I think, Simply Crochet. So that's my blanket, and the reason that I am running that, I was saying, but I think I went off track, is the reason I'm crocheting it, but then I went off track, is because Cherie and I are running a brand new make-along. It's called the Cozy Winter Make-Along. No, it's not. It's called the Cozy Winter Blanket Along. It's the most chilled out and relaxed along ever. Join in whenever you want. Whips are allowed as long as you're not already more than 50% done. We're running it until the 28th of February. There's a Ravelry group for both chatter and finished objects, which is in Cherie's Ravelry group, and I'll put a link to that underneath, so you can post and chatter in there, or you can post on Instagram and use the hashtag. At the end of the cow, I will draw one winner from the hashtag, and Cherie will draw one winner from the thread. So there's just 2 prizes. It's mainly for fun and as an excuse to just finish those blankets or start a lovely cozy blanket. Cuddle up and cozy up with your crochet or knitting. Knitting is more than welcome as well on a cold winter's January evening or day, and just enjoy some cozy time. Or indeed, if you are in warmer climates, maybe you could knit your blanket in time for autumn when that comes as well. So I hope you're joining in. If you are, let me know. I've had loads of lovely messages on Instagram and Ravelry about it. So it's so lovely that so many of you have been really enthusiastic about it. It's nice to have something going on in these early months of the year. So that's the Cozy Blanket Along. Is there anything else to say about that? No, that's it. My only other work in progress that I'm going to share with you in this podcast, because like I say, I'm going to do my sort of confessional in a separate vlog very soon, are my current pair of socks that I've got on the needles. Oh, my voice went weird then. My current pair of socks that I've got on the needles. Oh no, my badge fell off. So on my blanket project bag, I had a badge. I had my vaccinated crocheter badge, and it's fallen off. I've got 2 of these from Claudia at Crochet Luna. This one says vaccinated crocheter, and my other one says vaccinated knitter, and I am both. Oh, well, I'll put that back on, and maybe what I'll do is I'll put a bit of thread around it to stop it falling off. I probably knocked it. But my next pair of socks, oh, it's getting dark, and it doesn't help that it's really raining, so it's already really dark anyway, is in my most favourite Christmassy bag ever. I love this bag because it's got the snowman on it, and I love Raymond Briggs illustrations. I've got a little gingerbread pin on there, got a lovely little stitch marker on there that's all festive. In here I am making, with some very special yarn, I am making the Pearly Dot Socks, which is a pattern by Sandra Paul, who is Cherry Heart, and I am using the most special yarn, which is in a bit of a messy cake. Look at that. It is so pretty, and I love it so much. And it is knitting up so beautifully in this pattern. Look at that. And the yarn is called This Little Wonderful Christmas. It was dyed just for me. Look, it says on the label, just for Ali. And this was a gift from Becky, lovely Becky, who is Back to Blighty Yarn. She's also Back to Blighty here on YouTube. You should watch her. She also did an absolutely gorgeous Vlogmas. And we met up during our Vlogmas, and we went to Scotney Castle, and it was beautiful. And we had the most festive and lovely day. We went on far too long a walk because we got a bit confused, and we had a lovely time, and we exchanged gifts. and she gave me this gorgeous yarn. It's very handy knowing talented yarn dyers. And I love it so much. And what I love about this pattern, for the first time ever, I've done a little folded cuff. This is the cuff that's in the pattern. It's got a picot edge, and I was a bit nervous about it, but I'm very, very pleased with it. I'll show it to you here as well, because just the way the yarn fell, you might be able to see the picot a bit better on this one. There we go. So it's a folded edge. I'm really intrigued by how that's going to fit when I get them on my feet. And so they're the Pearly Dot Socks by Sandra Paul. Now I did the heel that's in the pattern on the first sock, and I picked up the gusset stitches, but then I was looking at it and I'm really, really not happy with how it looks. I personally find it really hard to pick up stitches on a garter edge. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. I'm about to frog it back. It's getting so dark. Oh, speed up, speed up. Yeah, I know it doesn't look too bad, but I just find it a bit messy. So what I decided to do was I'm going to frog this back, and on the other sock I've started to do another one of Sandra's heels from the Sugar Icing Socks pattern, which is an Eye of Partridge heel. Oh, I'm getting all tangled up now. But without the garter edge, and I'm already happier with it. I feel like that's going to sit a lot more neatly. But I'm really enjoying this, and to keep me on track I'm using my little book. I've shown this before. I have a little notebook that I use for just and I think, yeah, it was Cherie from Ollie and Bella that gave this to me, I think one Christmas or in a swap or for my birthday. And I just put all of my notes about what I'm making. I mean, it's not a work of art, it's just literally a working notebook, so I can cross things off, especially if I'm making a pair of socks and I want to remember what I've done, how many stitches I picked up and so on. But I make sure I colour it in and keep it looking nice, and I stick things in and things like that. And I just love having this. It keeps falling apart and I have to sellotape it together, and that makes it feel a little bit satisfying and so on. So I've got that in there as well. So that's my only other work in progress that I'm going to share today. And I'm really panicking that I'm going to run out of light, but I can always finish filming tomorrow if it gets too dark. But I'd rather finish filming today whilst I'm on a roll. It's me from the very dark future. Before I keep yabbering on in the podcast, I had completely forgotten that I'd written myself an extra note about a giveaway that I've got for you, and it's because it only literally happened in a conversation about an hour before I started filming, and I completely forgot to mention it, but I don't want to miss out on doing this lovely giveaway right at the start of the year. So gorgeous Hannah of Yarnia Designs has got a brand new cowl pattern out. It is called the Starlight Cowl, and I shall put a picture up of it on the screen so that you can see what it looks like. It is designed, she described it as a really mindless project that will just keep you knitting away, and you don't need to concentrate too much. You can use as many mini skeins as you want and just keep going. She designed it to keep her occupied during the first trimester of her pregnancy when she couldn't really concentrate on anything else. And that's how it was designed, that's why it came about. So she's given a copy to the podcast to give away. So what I would like to do is, because obviously I was talking about how much I love January, so I think what we'll do is we'll open the giveaway on Ravelry, or shall we do it in the comments? Oh, it's hard because I know not all of you are on Ravelry. Let's do it in the comments because everyone's in the comments, aren't they? So let's just do it in the comments. If you want to be in with a chance of winning the Starlight Cowl by Yarnia Designs, just make sure you include the word Starlight in your comment, and maybe just tell me about what you like about January. So everyone who struggles with this darker time of year can maybe read through some positive comments. So keep it nice and positive, and find some things to help lift their spirits in the months when it's darker. So especially if you're like me and you're happier in these months, let's share a little bit of that with those that aren't, so that we can help them enjoy it. So thank you so much, Hannah from Yarnia Designs, for giving not only me a copy, by the way, but the podcast a copy to give away. And leave your comment underneath. I will draw a winner in the next episode. And I will now go back to the me a couple of hours ago when it was just that little bit lighter, still yabbering on. Okay, make along. So I've already mentioned that that we're doing the cozy blanket along, so that's brilliant. And the details of all of that will be underneath. The Strictly Sock along, I've closed the FO thread as of this morning, which is Saturday the 8th of January. So I've done that. And I will be filming the final Strictly vlog in the week where I draw all of the prizes. So if you've been joining in, please make sure you tune into that vlog when it goes live. I'm going to film it this week. Hopefully it'll be live by next weekend because I've got loads of prizes still to draw. And yeah, so if you've been joining in, do make sure you watch that to see if you've been selected as a winner. And the other thing to talk about is the Ami Along, which has been a year-long make-along that has been running in my Ravelry group and on Instagram. It's the Eldau Ami Along, and it has been utterly wonderful. Oh my goodness. The rate, I don't know if you can hear it, it's just got so heavy. I'm so worried about the chickens. They are covered, but oh, it's just so wet out there. My goodness. Yeah, I'm going to leave the thread open indefinitely because it is such an active thread. There is way over 1,000 posts in there, people chatting there all the time. It's such an inspirational, happy, friendly, chatty, wonderful thread. I dip in and out of there on my lunch hour at work if I'm feeling a bit bored or sad because it just cheers me up and I end up having to favourite loads of new patterns. And anyway, I need to draw the Q4 prizes. I've got another print out for this. And also I just wanted to show you some of the things that have been catching my eye in the thread. So it's so hard to choose. There are so many things in there, but these are just a very small sample of things that caught my eye. So first of all, actually let me move over so we've got room to put pictures up. So first of all, we've got a cat. This is by Monko by Lanska, and that just really struck me. I just thought it was so cute. And then lovely Victoria of Victoria Knits podcast, she posted a couple of things she made for her grandsons. The flamingo, I love it. I love the flamingo so much. It's called Fiona the Flamingo. It's a knitted toy. It's by Amanda Berry. And she also made a monkey, which is, the pattern is Monkey Jacobus by Anita Wilshut. And not only that, but she made miniature versions as if it was not already cute enough already, and that just really made me smile. Really good job, Victoria. I bet they absolutely love those. PPP Crochet made Bleep Bleep, which is a pattern by Storyland Amies on Etsy, and Buckaroo made a brush tail with a joey poking out, which I just really loved, and the picture of it, you know, in the wild as well. I really like that. I loved Nina Vine's Christmas Robins, which is a free pattern by Just Pootling. Those were really lovely. I feel like I need to have those on my list for next year, but I completely failed at making any Christmas amigurumi for the Christmas just gone. Terrible. Puffin, this puffin by Yarn and Hook. The pattern is Bonnie Puffin by Janina Schenkel. I thought that was really sweet. So I just wanted to share all of those. And then I went and asked our friend, whose name begins with A, to help me draw prize numbers. So there was, I think, 1,132 posts in the thread. So I asked her to draw randomly a number between 2 and 1,132, because obviously the first post is mine. And the first number she drew was number 117. There was no picture attached to this post, it was just a chatty post, and it was Nicola Knits, which I was really pleased to see because Nicola is so helpful. She's been really helpful to me when with little things around the group. She's test knit for me before, and she's really chatty in the group as well. So Nicola, you have won a bag by Sarah Jo Makes, which I shall dig out and show you in a minute, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and a book. Hang on, I need to get this pattern out. Not pattern, I mean prize. Okay, I'm going to be in such a mess by the time I've finished. So you have won this gorgeous bag by Sarah Jo Makes. I absolutely love this bag, it is so pretty. There's a little matching lavender pouch inside as well. perfect for holding your amigurumi makes. It's got a gorgeous little matching keychain on it. It's lined in this gorgeous fabric. There's her. And it's drawstring and it's got handles as well. It is so beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And with it, I've got this Modern Crocheted Shawls and Wraps book by Laura Strutt. This is something I'm throwing in. It's full of some really gorgeous crochet projects, and I know that you'll make some wonderful things with it. There you go. So that is your prize, Nicola, and like I say, you've also got the pattern prize for me as well. So if you could get in touch with your address on email. My email is littledropsofwonderful@gmail.com. I don't think I have your address already, but I will double check just in case. And I will get that sent out to you. Okay, so the next number that our friend drew was, oh my goodness, sometimes she just gets it so spot on. She drew number 662. It was a picture post. It's Maureen Ann, and she made a BTS amigurumi, and it's Suga, who's Phoebe's favourite. It was a high school graduation present for someone who absolutely loves BTS. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how can like a BTS amigurumi? I think it might be the only one in the entire thread, and she's won a prize. So that really, really tickled me. Thank you so much for posting that, Maureen. It was really lovely to see. And you have won. I'm doing that thing where you have to hold it away because it's getting so dark. Okay, you have won a pattern collection from Stella Marku. She is, I'm going to put her Ravelry name up on Ravelry because I'm going to pronounce it wrong. And she has donated a copy of 7 Deadly Sins for Crafters, which is a collection of animal patterns. Each one of them represents one of the sins that we crafters often fall for. We've got the peacock, which is pride, because we want to show off our makes with so much pride. Pig is gluttony, because sometimes we eat our supplies without a plan. Goat is lust, we love yarn and we want to touch it and cuddle with it. Lion is wrath, because we get angry if we find a mistake or if the pattern doesn't work. Cat is envy, as we feel a little jealous about other people's work. Magpie, which I really want to make, is greed, because we always want more yarn. And sloth is sloth, because sometimes we procrastinate. So you've won that entire collection, Maureen. So I will ask Stella to get that sent to you over on Ravelry, so you don't actually need to do anything. And I've got 2 copies of that to give away. So the next one that she drew was me, number 425. So obviously I scrubbed that one out and got her to draw again. And the one after that was number 532. It was another chatty post, so no picture with this one. It's Crafty Girl 15, and that's Becky, and you're in Rhode Island, so you've won a copy of that collection as well. And again, I know your Ravelry name, so I will ask Stella to get that sent over to you. Now, the last pattern I've got is, why do I keep saying pattern? The last prize is going to be this gorgeous Winnie the Pooh bag from an anonymous donor, which is absolutely lovely. It's poppers. So you get that satisfying noise. Hang on. Satisfying poppers. So you're going to win this and a copy of my droplet pattern if you don't have it already. And I'd also like to gift you one of the Dabbling Hook Octo patterns, because I just think everyone should make one. They are so cute. They are no sew and they are adorable, and you can make them so quickly. And Rel, the designer, she often on Instagram will post different versions of them for different occasions, like for Valentine's Day or Halloween or Christmas, or she just does amazing. She's so creative. So that's going to be the prize. And the next winner, oh, I obviously forgot that one of them was me, and I don't have a 4th winner. Okay, so I'm gonna, after this podcast, I'm gonna draw a winner. So whoever it is, I will put your name on the screen right now, and you will be the winner of the bag and those 2 patterns that I mentioned. And if you wouldn't mind getting in touch with me with your address, so I can send you the bag. And I will already have your Ravelry name, because I'm going to be drawing it from Ravelry. Okay? that's all the prizes. Thank you so much to everyone who joined in. The great thing about having a year-long make-along is that you can really see how the makes change along the seasons. You know, you see Valentine's, Halloween, Christmas, summery things and so on, and that was wonderful. And I am going to leave that thread open indefinitely, and then maybe I might run that Ami along again either later in the year or the year after. I feel like I don't have the capacity to do it this year, but maybe in a few months, who knows. And I will always be dipping in there because such a wonderful thread. Like whenever you want inspiration for something, there's always something in there. I would highly recommend, even if you're just thinking about getting started with amigurumi this year, maybe it's one of your New Year promises to yourself, that you have a look at it, because you won't be disappointed. I would like to talk about books and stuff because I haven't done that in a while, and obviously I've had a few things come in. I'm not going to talk about everything that I've got over Christmas because I'm sure this will be long enough without that. So I'm currently reading The Strawberry Thief by Joanne Harris, who you might recognise her name because she wrote Chocolat, which was a big famous book quite a few years ago. And I've been reading this since the summer, mainly because I haven't been reading it. I put it down and I haven't been picking it up. So it's The Strawberry Thief by Joanne Harris. And this feels like I'm repeating myself because I was talking about this on my This Little Wonderful Life vlog that I filmed earlier as well, very briefly. And I have hit upon a tip from my friend Sarah. My friend Sarah, who is Yarn Mugs, has a Yarn Mugs podcast. Her and I are actually going to go to the Waltham Abbey Wool Festival. The Waltham Abbey Wool Show next weekend together, and I'm so excited. It's the first yarn show I will have been to in forever, so I'm really excited about that. But we were talking about reading. She reads a lot more than me, and I was asking her for tips. And I hope she doesn't mind me passing this on because this is all her idea. But what she does is she divides the number of pages that she wants to read by the amount of days that she wants to read it by. So if she wants to read a book in a month, she'll divide the number of pages by 30 or 31, and that's how many pages she has to read in a month. This may seem like a simple solution to you, but it had never occurred to me. So that's what I did. I took the remaining pages of my book, divided it by the amount of days remaining in January, and I know I need to read roughly just over 10 pages a day to finish it. And that just changed the game for me. It just completely swiveled my mind around, and now I can get into bed and go, right, I'm going to read my 10 pages, and it has just changed the way I feel about reading, because I love reading, but I get overwhelmed with the fact I don't have time to do it. But once I realised, read this amount of pages, you'll read the book, it was so motivating for me. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this by the end of the month. It's a really good book. I'm loving it. It's actually the 4th book. There's Chocolat, and then there's 2 other books, and then this one. So I may need to go back and read the other 2, but as a standalone book, it's absolutely fine. It's very magical and mysterious, and the characters are really well written, especially Rosette, the daughter in this, is a really, really lovely character. And then I've got a couple of books for Christmas. So these are going to be on my to-read list. One was from my mum. I'd never heard of it. It is called Happy Families by Julie Ma. Or Julie Math. I'd never heard of it, but my mum always tends to get it spot on when she buys me a book. And it's basically, I think it's the first novel of the author. And it sounds like it's a fiction, but it sounds like it's very much got its basis in her real life, because I think the author's grandfather moved from China to Wales in the 1920s. And then her parents opened a Chinese takeaway in Wales in the 1970s. She then took that over with her brother, and this story focuses on a woman who gives up her career in Wales to come back and run the family takeaway. So I think that's going to be a really, really interesting read. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I've purposely not looked it up on Amazon. I don't want to read anyone else's views on it or reviews. I just want to make up my own mind on it before I read any of that. So I'm really looking forward to reading Happy Families. And then from Dan, and this is one I requested because so many people, I think on this channel and on my This Little Wonderful Life channel, recommended this book after I was talking about Hetty Feather and we visited the Foundling Museum before Christmas, is the book The Foundling by Stacey Halls. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's based in 1754, and basically it's about A woman drops her child off at the Foundling Hospital. She comes back to claim her and finds that someone else has already claimed her daughter. And it's about trying to find out why and what's happened. So I'm really looking forward to those books, as well as many others that I've got lined up. I've got audiobooks on the go as well. So I finished Black and British some time ago, and since then I've listened to Miriam Margolyes's autobiography, This Much Is True, which I thought was just amazing. And to listen to it, I think, was far better than to read it, because she is such an amazing actress and storyteller. Her voice is incredible. That to listen to her tell the story really, really added to it. I loved it. It is a bit rude in parts though. Don't listen to it if you're prudish, I would say. But she has led a fascinating, interesting life, and she has some really, really good things to say. I really enjoyed it. I've moved on now to Billy Connolly's autobiography, which was released at the end of 2021, Windswept and Interesting, and I am really enjoying that. Billy Connolly is as much a part of my life and childhood as anything else I can think of, really. My dad was a huge fan of Billy Connolly. He had a little briefcase full of cassette tapes with audio recordings of Billy Connolly's shows, which we used to listen to when we were far too young to listen to them, because Billy Connolly is very familiar with swearing and foul language, but it works when you're Scottish and you're windswept and interesting. And I just associate him with my dad, really, and he even speaks a bit like my dad. And Billy Connolly has Parkinson's, so he's got a certain drawl to his voice that my dad had as well towards the later part of his life. So I'm really, really enjoying it. I find myself really laughing as I wander around with my earphones in, or when I'm sitting in the car at traffic lights or something. I've got a few other things as well, but I think I'll save those for another time, otherwise I'm going to start rabbiting on too much. Some incoming things. Oh, it is so dark. I'm hoping my camera's making it a bit lighter, but it is so dark right now. Okay, incoming things. I'm not going to go massively into incoming, because I've had so much come in where I've bought stuff or I've had gifts over Christmas and so on, and I don't actually have it all up here with me. I had the most gorgeous surprise parcel from Nikki, who is Clara, no, yeah, she is Clara, but she's not that on YouTube. What's she on YouTube? Sheep and Cheerful. I didn't need to look it up. The Sheep and Cheerful podcast. Nikki at the Sheep and Cheerful podcast put out a kind of pay it forward thing, and people were asked to nominate someone who deserved this little gift. I can't find the lovely card she popped in. Oh, it's not here, but yeah, so it was, I'm just jabbering on now, aren't I? I just can't believe that someone did this, that these two people have done this. So Nikki did a pay it forward thing. Loads of people nominated different people, and she put all of those names into a hat, and my name was drawn. And it was Heather, lovely Heather, hi Heather, that nominated me. So thank you, Heather. I just feel just so undeserving of it. And Nikki, bless her, printed out what Heather had said. And I would read it out, but it feels a bit too promotion-y. So I'm not going to, but she printed it out, she put all the little decoration around it, so it's so special. And what Heather said, what you said, Heather, was just so beautiful. I'm going to stick this up in my cupboard where I keep all of my craft stuff, because thank you so much. If I just finish my Oscar speech, I will show you what I got. I got this gorgeous bag by the Little Grey Girl, and I often see the Little Grey Girl in the past when I used to go to yarn shows, and I'm tempted, but I've never indulged. So to have this, I feel very lucky. I've got this gorgeous bag in this wonderful colour. I can't believe how well that's showing up on the screen, because I can barely see it in this light, but my camera's doing a sterling job. And it's got this kind of leather, I don't know if it's real leather suedette type handle, which is so tactile and lovely. It's got the same on the zip pull, and it's just got a lovely plain lining. It is so gorgeous, and I just love it. And then with it, I got a little Paper Stories wooden pin. It says Hugs from Clara. There's the Paper Stories, and it says Hugs from Clara. So I can put that on the bag because it's going to look so good on there, isn't it? I'm going to pop it inside to keep it safe, along with the note. And not only that, but I got some gorgeous yarn. The colour of this. Curated Yarn Company. Oh, I can't read the colourway. I'll show you. Hang on. So that's the yarn dye. Curated Yarn Company. And that is the colourway name. How would you say that? Chokia, maybe. And it is this beautiful deep pink colour. My camera is now having a little bit of a hard time focusing now that it's got so dark. But the added bonus is that colour is coming out beautifully. It's so gorgeous. So that is all mine. So thank you so much, Heather and Nikki. Honestly, couldn't believe that. I ordered some yarn from Third Vault Yarns, I know. It's not Mazikeen. I have a bit of a problem with Mazikeen yarn, I keep buying it. I ordered some for Dan, I actually ordered some for a friend, and I ordered some for Dan as well. And the packaging it came in, so first of all, recyclable brown paper envelope, and then inside, recyclable brown paper bag, which I thought was just brilliant. And then there was a sticker on it that says Rawsome Mail. Is that what it says? Yeah, Rawsome Mail, which I thought was just brilliant. So I'm going to cut around that and stick that in my little notebook. And the colour I got is so that it's on her Glow DK base, and it's because Dan wants to learn to knit, and I keep promising I'll teach him. And I think a good thing for him to start with will be a hat. So I wanted to get him some yarn that was quite light in colour, but colours that I know he would like. And also it meant something to both of us. So this is called Cosmic Turtle, which reminds me, of course, of the turtle that flies through the universe in the Terry Pratchett novels, which we both absolutely love and adore. That is the Third Vault Yarns logo. And here are all the yarn details. And I love that Lola, who's the dyer behind Third Vault Yarns, always dates the dye lot. I find that really, really helpful, especially if you want to buy follow-up ones. And the colour is just perfect for Dan. It's this wonderful greens and browns. Greens, browns, greys. It's just beautiful. Turtle-like colours, of course. And he likes these colours to wear, so they're going to look fabulous in a hat for him. But they're light enough that he'll be able to see his stitches as he's learning. It's beautiful. So I'm really pleased with that. And so was he. I've already shown him. So he's really pleased with that. What else have I got incoming that I've actually remembered to bring up the stairs with me? No, I think I'll leave it there, because otherwise I'm just going to be winging it, and I'm just going to be erring and umming and trying to find things. I'll wait until next time to finish off with incoming stuff, I think. Let's move on to And Finally, which is where I just do all the moppy up bits. I wanted to mention that I said on my last podcast that if it was helpful, I would do a tutorial for weaving in ends as you go when you're doing stripy socks, and the jogless yarn change. I'm losing the ability to talk now. You know what I mean. And then about a week later, lovely Mars, who's of the Hey Brown Berry podcast, put a little reminder up on her Instagram that she's got a tutorial doing just that. So, and then someone else said, although I haven't seen this one, that Earth Tones Girl also has something that shows you how to do that. Which is good news for you lot, because it means that two people who are far superior in their knowledge than me have already done it. And good news for me, because it means that I don't have to. Because if I did, it wouldn't be anywhere near as good. So go and have a look at that. I will link the videos underneath so you've got them for making those scrappy socks and mittens and hats or whatever else you're doing. The giveaway, this is the other thing I wanted to mention. The giveaway winner who won the purple yarn I drew the winner. It was Helen Amos. It was drawn in the last podcast. It's the purple yarn and matching hand cream. I haven't heard from you, Helen, so last call for Helen Amos to get in touch with me. My email is underneath, littlедropsofwonderful@gmail.com. Drop me a line and I'll get that posted to you. And the very last thing is 2022 for me is going to be the year of garment making. I don't want to make any more shawls. I don't want to make any more things like that. I want to make garments and socks. Those are the things that I want to do in 2022 and other bits as well. I am sure that I will go off on a tangent and make all kinds of other stuff, and I'm sure there will be plenty of amigurumi and other things. And I have started a Ravelry queue, which I've never really done before, so I don't know if you can see it, but I've made a Ravelry queue, which I'm very excited about and will probably leave and completely ignore until around November. So that was it. That is hopefully a reasonably length podcast. Not too short, not too long, catch you up a little bit, and I will be back very soon with my WIP transparency vlog, where I am going to gather every single last one of my works in progress and decide what to do with them. So it's going to be quite a long vlog, I think, because there are a lot of them. I've just found more in my podcasting box here. Oh dear. Right, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry about the long space between episodes. And thank you if you watched Vlogmas over on This Little Wonderful Life. I hope you've had a lovely start to your 2022, and I will see you again in a few weeks' time. And until then, happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy crafting, happy tea drinking, and enjoy January. Bye.